Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive. Today we're going to help someone plan their YouTube channel.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. And this guy's got a really interesting story. I think our listeners are really going to love this one.
Awesome. I'm always up for a good story.
Okay, so the guy's name is Otmar Lindner, and he's a retired Austrian Army officer.
Okay.
And he's got 30 years of experience in peacekeeping.
Wow, 30 years. That's impressive.
I know, right. And not just like one type of peacekeeping. He served with the UN, NATO, the EU, the OSCE.
He's been everywhere.
Seriously. Cyprus, Israel, Syria, Lebanon, Iraq, Kuwait, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Cambodia, Tajikistan, Georgia, Kosovo, and Ukraine.
Wow, that's incredible. The guy's seen it all.
Right. Like, talk about a global perspective.
Yeah.
And it's not just the locations. It's the range of positions he's held, too.
Oh, yeah. Like what?
So he's been Chief Public Affairs Officer, Force Provost, Marshal Intelligence Officer, Company Commander, even more.
So he's got stories.
Oh, I bet he does. Some we probably can't even imagine.
Exactly. And now he wants to share all that on YouTube.
Yeah. He wants to kind of go behind the scenes of peacekeeping.
Wow.
Give people a real insider's view.
That's awesome. I think there's a huge appetite for that kind of content. People are fascinated by what goes on in those kinds of situations.
Totally. And he also wants to offer his take on current events, based on his experience.
Oh, that's interesting. So like world affairs commentary from someone who's actually been in the thick of things.
Exactly. And to round things out, he also wants to share a bit of his life now that he's retired.
Where's he living now?
So he's in this beautiful town called Velden am Wörthersee in Austria. It's like right on this stunning lake surrounded by mountains.
Okay, that sounds idyllic, especially after a career like his.
Right. So he wants to give viewers a taste of that peaceful life, too. The contrast is pretty striking.
Definitely. So it's like peacekeeping insights, global commentary, and a slice of Austrian life, all in one channel.
Exactly. Okay, so let's dive into his vision a little bit.
Sounds good. I'm all ears.
All right, so first up, his goals for the channel. He wants to, go beyond the headlines, give people a deeper understanding of peacekeeping,
Wow.
offer his unique perspective on things.
Okay, makes sense. So kind of like educational, but also personal?
Right. Yeah, exactly. He's not just reporting the facts, he's sharing his own experiences, his own insights.
And I bet those insights are valuable. I mean, he's been in situations that most people can only imagine.
Totally. And he also wants to kind of foster a sense of community, connect with people who are interested in these topics.
I like that. So it's not just a one-way broadcast. It's about engaging with viewers, building a dialogue.
Exactly. Now, to help him achieve these goals, he's divided his content into 4 categories.
Oh, smart. What are they?
Okay, so there's peacekeeping stories, obviously.
That's a given.
Right. Then world affairs commentary, where he'll share his take on current events.
Makes sense.
Personal reflections,
Yeah.
where he can talk about, his life, his journey, his thoughts on things.
That's a good one. I always find those kinds of reflections really insightful.
Me too. And lastly, day-to-day life, where he can showcase Velden and that whole Austrian lifestyle.
Ooh, I bet that'll be popular. People love travel content, especially when it's tied to a personal story.
Totally.
You
So he's
like
got
that.
a pretty good mix there, right? Something for everyone?
Definitely. He
Yeah.
seems to have a clear vision for his channel.
He does. But he's struggling with one thing, the name.
Ah, the eternal struggle of the YouTuber.
Right. He's come up with 5 options, but he's not sure which one is best.
Let's hear them. Maybe we can help him out.
Okay, so here they are. The Peacekeeper's perspective.
Straightforward.
Right from the field to freedom.
Catchy.
Corinthian Chronicles, a veteran's view.
Corinthian Chronicles, okay.
Global reflections with his name.
For sure.
And the officer's journey life beyond the uniform.
So many choices.
I know, right? They all have their pros and cons. It's
Yeah.
tough.
Well, let's break it down. What do you think about the Peacekeeper's perspective?
I mean, it's clear. It tells you exactly what the channel's about. But maybe a bit too narrow.
Yeah, maybe. It might limit his audience to people who are specifically interested in peacekeeping.
All right, what about from the field to freedom?
I like the sound of it. It's kind of evocative. It hints at a journey.
Yeah, but it might not appeal to people who are more interested in the Velden stuff, the Austrian lifestyle.
Good point.
Yeah.
It's kind of focused on the military aspect.
What about Corinthian Chronicles, a veteran's view?
That was interesting. It definitely emphasizes the location, the personal side of things.
Right, but does it fully capture his peacekeeping expertise?
Maybe not. It's a bit more subtle.
And then there's global reflections with his name, which is very personal, but might not be catchy enough.
True. And the officer's journey life beyond the uniform, which again emphasizes the military background.
It's a tough call, right?
It is. They all have their strengths and weaknesses.
And on top of the name, he's also got 2 taglines he's considering.
Boy, this is getting complicated.
I know, right? So the first one is from peacekeeping missions to peaceful reflections.
It's accurate. It sums up his journey.
But maybe a bit too wordy.
Yeah, and maybe a little too on the nose.
Right. The second one is global insights, local life personal stories.
That one's more concise.
But maybe a little too generic.
Yeah, it doesn't quite capture his unique perspective.
It's tough, right? He needs something that really grabs people's attention. Something that reflects his expertise and the depth of what he's offering.
Totally. It's all about finding that perfect balance between informative, catchy, and personal.
Exactly. So what do you think? Any initial thoughts on which name or tagline might work best?
Well, I have some ideas, but let's maybe move on to the actual video topics first and then come back to the name and tagline.
Okay, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
It might give us more clarity on the overall direction of the channel.
Exactly. So let's dive into those video ideas. What's he got cooking? All right, so let's dive into those video ideas. What's he got cooking?
Okay, so for his military career category, he's thinking about titles like The Role of a Military Observer, Insights from the Field,
Okay.
and Life as a Peacekeeper, Navigating War and Diplomacy.
Those are okay, but maybe a little broad, you know?
Okay.
What if he focused on specific missions or experiences?
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Like, instead of just talking about the role of a military observer in general,
Right.
he could pick a particular mission where he served as an observer and really dive into the detail.
Exactly. Like maybe one with really high stakes, you know, where he had to make tough calls.
Yeah, and share those behind-the-scenes stories.
Yeah.
What it was really like to be in that situation.
Right. Because that's what people want to hear, the personal stories, the human element.
Totally. And for Life as a Peacekeeper, maybe instead of a general overview, he could break it down into a series.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, each episode focusing on a different aspect of peacekeeping. Like one on negotiating with warlords,
Okay.
one on building trust in conflict zones.
That's good. It's like a mini series within the channel.
Exactly. Okay, now let's move on to world affairs commentary. This is where I think his experience could really shine.
Beautifully. He must have so much to say about current events based on what he's seen.
Right. So he's thinking about titles like Understanding Conflict Lessons from Insert Region Conflict and The Role of International Organizations in Peacekeeping.
Those are decent, but again, maybe a little dry. How about we spice things up a bit?
Yeah, I'm all for spice. What do you have in mind?
So instead of understanding conflict, he could do something like why peace talks fail and how to make them work.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
It's provocative. It's got that clickbait element.
Right. It makes you want to know more.
Totally. And for the peacekeeping one, maybe something like the UN peacekeepers, are they effective? An insider's perspective.
That's good. It plays on his expertise. It's like,
Yeah.
hey, I've been there. I know what's up.
Exactly.
Okay.
Okay, now, for a change of pace, personal life, this is where we get to see the Weldon charm.
Yeah, bring on the Austrian scenery.
So he's got ideas like life after service, adjusting to civilian life in Austria,
Okay.
and exploring Weldon, my favorite spots in Carinthia.
Those are sweet. But again, let's see if we can make them a little more catchy.
Okay, I'm listening.
So for life after service, how about something like trading combat boots for hiking boots? My Austrian adventures.
Uh-huh. I love that. It's playful. It's got personality.
Right. And for the Weldon one, maybe Hidden Gems of Weldon, a Peacekeeper's Guide.
That's perfect. It ties his past and present together in an intriguing way.
Exactly. Okay, now what about those special features? The live Q&As and collaborations.
Yeah, those are great ideas. I think they'll be really important for building a community around his channel.
Totally. It's all about engagement, you
Yeah.
know, making viewers feel like they're part of the conversation.
For the Q&As, I was thinking he could do themed ones. Maybe one on peacekeeping,
Okay.
one on his military career,
Huh.
one on life in Austria.
Yeah, that's smart. It caters to different interests.
Exactly. And for collaborations, he could reach out to other veterans who are now YouTubers or podcasters,
Great idea.
or even experts on peacekeeping and international relations.
Yeah.
You know, people who are already creating content in this space.
It's all about cross-promotion, right? Tapping into existing audiences.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's talk about promotion. How's he going to get people to actually watch his videos?
The million-dollar question.
Right. So he's thinking about social media, of course.
Yeah.
You know, using TikTok, Instagram, Facebook to create those short, attention-grabbing teasers.
Smart. The key is to make those teasers visually compelling, right? Like use some dramatic footage from his peacekeeping days.
Yeah, or stunning shots of Weldon. Maybe even some behind-the-scenes glimpses of him filming.
And those captions have to be on point. Something like, from war zones to paradise, one peacekeeper's journey.
Oh, I like that. Or, want to know what it's really like to negotiate with warlords? Watch this.
Perfect. Now, what about that separate Instagram account focusing on Veldin?
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. It's like a visual appetizer to draw people in.
Right. It's like, hey, come check out this beautiful place. And oh, by the way, I also have a YouTube channel where I talk about my crazy life.
Exactly. Okay, and then there's networking. Connecting with other veterans, peacekeeping-focused channels, veteran organizations.
That's crucial. Building those relationships is key, especially in the beginning.
Yeah, reaching out to people who are already doing similar things, seeing if they're open to collaborations, cross-promotion.
It's all about community, right? Supporting each other, amplifying each other's voices.
Exactly. Okay, last but not least, audience engagement. How's he going to keep people coming back for more?
Yeah, that's the real challenge. Keeping viewers engaged.
So he's planning on doing polls for topic ideas.
Good idea.
And encouraging questions in the comments.
Yeah, those are good starting points.
But I think he could go even further. What if he did live polls during his Q&A sessions?
Ooh, I like that. It makes it more interactive.
Right, like get instant feedback from viewers on what they want to see.
And for comments, he could do something like, comment with your most burning question about peacekeeping, and I'll answer it in my next video.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
It encourages people to participate.
Exactly. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here. Let's recap. What are his ideas for the first few videos?
All right, so he's thinking about starting with a classic, welcome to my channel, who I am and why I'm here video.
Okay, standard intro.
Then, top 5 lessons from 30 years of peacekeeping operations.
That could be interesting.
And lastly, Veldin am Wörthersee, a peacekeeper's new home.
So kind of an overview of his life now.
Exactly. What do you think?
I think those are good choices, but let's see if we can make them even stronger, Really grab people's attention from the start.
Okay, I'm all ears.
So I think those are good choices, but let's see if we can make them even stronger, Really grab people's attention from the start.
Okay, I'm all ears.
So for that welcome video, instead of just talking about himself, maybe he starts with a powerful image or story.
Oh yeah, like something that really hooks you right from the beginning.
Exactly. Like, imagine this. He opens with footage from a tense peacekeeping mission, like a bombed-out building or something.
Oh, cool.
And then it cuts to him sitting by the lake in Veldin, all peaceful and serene.
Wow, that contrast would be amazing.
Right. It would immediately show the scope of his journey, from war zones to paradise.
And they would make people want to know more. Like, how did he get from there to here?
Exactly. Okay, now for the top 5 lessons video, how about we make it a little more controversial?
Ooh, I like where this is going.
Instead of just listing lessons, what if he frames it as debunking myths?
Oh, that's good. Like 5 myths about peacekeeping that need to be busted.
Perfect. It's more attention-grabbing, it makes people curious.
And it positions him as an authority, someone who's going to challenge conventional wisdom.
Exactly. Okay, and for the Veldin video, instead of a generic tour, he could focus on specific spots that have personal meaning to him.
Oh, yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
So instead of just showing the pretty scenery,
right,
he connects those places to his own story.
Exactly, like the mountaintop where I found clarity after years of conflict.
Ooh, that's good. Or the lakeside cafe where I wrote my first book.
Perfect. It's all about weaving those personal threads into the visuals and the information.
So there you have it. A blueprint for Otmar's YouTube channel. From peacekeeping missions to peaceful reflections.
It's really coming together. It's exciting to see all these ideas taking shape.
It is.
Yeah.
Right? And it's all thanks to his willingness to share his experiences, his insights, his life.
Exactly. And I think that's what's going to make his channel so special. It's not just about entertainment. It's about connection.
It's about understanding different perspectives, seeing the world through someone else's eyes.
And I think that's something we all need more of these days, especially in a world that can feel so divided at times.
Yeah, it's a reminder that we're all human. We all have stories to tell, and those stories have the power to bridge those divides.
Absolutely. So as we wrap up this deep dive, I'm curious, what are you most excited about seeing come to life on Otmar's channel?
That's a tough one. There's so much potential there. But I think the peacekeeping stories are going to be incredibly powerful.
Yeah, me too. Especially if he focuses on specific missions and the human impact, the real-life consequences of conflict.
Exactly. And those world affairs commentary videos could be really insightful, especially with his insider's perspective on things like diplomacy and conflict resolution.
Totally. He's got a unique vantage point, one that most commentators just don't have.
And of course, I'm looking forward to those glimpses of Veldin. It's like a virtual escape. A reminder that peace and beauty do exist in the world.
It's a nice balance, right? The
Mm,
intensity of his past experiences and the tranquility of his life now.
it is. And it shows that there's always hope, always a chance to find peace, even after going through incredibly challenging times.
Here's a thought-provoking question. How do you think Otmar's experiences in peacekeeping might inform his views on current events?
Oh, that's a really interesting question. I mean, he's been on the front lines of so many conflicts.
Hmm.
He's seen firsthand the human cost of war.
Exactly. So when he talks about the need for diplomacy, for understanding different cultures, for finding common ground, it carries a weight that someone who hasn't lived through those experiences just wouldn't have.
It's like he's offering us a window into a world we might not otherwise see, a world of complexities and challenges, but also of resilience and hope.
And that's a valuable perspective to share, especially in today's world. So let's raise a virtual toast to Otmar and his YouTube journey.
Cheers to compelling content, meaningful connections, and a channel that inspires the world.
And to all of you listening out there, thank you for joining us on this deep dive. We encourage you to seek out voices like Otmar's voices that challenge us to think differently, to see the world from new perspectives, and to never lose hope in the power of human connection. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep connecting.